Hello and welcome back to HISD Up Close. I'm Board President Mike Lunceford. On May 24th, Team HISD held a celebration of excellence to honor the hard work and dedication of all the district's teachers, principals, and support staff. The highlight of the evening was the announcement of the 2011-2012 Elementary and Secondary Teachers of the Year. And the winners are Lyons Elementary School teacher Ashley Montiel and Hogg Middle School teacher Brian Gaston.
I'm just very thankful, and I'm very honored to be here with so many deserving individuals. I can't thank my principal enough. She just provides an environment where I'm able to thrive and do what I love to do best, which is teach.
To my family, my friends, my loved ones, my administrator, my fellow teachers and educators at Hogg Middle School, I am so proud, I'm so happy. But most of all, I would like to thank my students. I call them Team Gaston. These are the hardest working students in HISD. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Joining me now are Brian Gaston and Ashley Montiel to tell us more about that evening, this past school year, and what's next. I was on stage when y'all received your awards. Were y'all surprised?
I was really surprised. When we sat down at the table, we were sitting with the other finalists, and one of the other finalists told me that she thought that the person had already known that they were going to win. So I looked at my dad, who was my date, and I just said, I can relax, like I can eat.
Did you have any idea?
Oh, no.
Yeah, because it's kind of weird. They brought you out, announced everybody, you sat down, and then they called up the person who won. So you're like, well.
And then you hear them kind of describing your essay.
Exactly. And you're going, sounds like me.
Oh my gosh, that's me, I wrote that. So
I know. And y'all both have not been teaching long. Ashley, how did you get into teaching? I find it interesting.
Well, yeah, I actually studied literature at American University, and my dad said to me, you know, Ashley, you have such a passion for education, and you know, you would be an awesome teacher, and I know that education can provide access to the world. So I really can't think of a more fulfilling job than to provide that access for my students. So that's how I really got into teaching. So you just
kind of got the feeling. Brian, you had an epiphany also. Why don't you tell us about it?
Oh, yes. Well, right out of college, my goal was to go to law school, but I decided
because you have an undergraduate degree in business.
Yes, I do. And so, but I decided to go to join Teach for America and do a 2-year commitment. But during the summer, during our training, I stepped into the classroom and it just felt right. And I knew this is what I wanted to do. That's
fantastic.
Yes.
People who didn't necessarily think from the get-go what they wanted to do, but got into it and figured out this is what they did. Now, I know both of y'all have been in an MBA or the master's program at St. Thomas. Yes. Okay. You've completed yours?
Yes,
graduated.
Okay, and you're almost.
I'm almost
You're
done.
Almost there, yeah. And you were, what did you focus on?
It was a Master's of Education, generalist, yes.
And yours is?
Master of Education and Teaching Leadership.
Okay, wow, leadership. What do you like about teaching? What you teach at the elementary level and you teach at middle school, so it's a little different, but it's the same. You know, kids are kids. Yeah. What do you like the best?
Well, there are the obvious moments, like you know, seeing the light bulb go off for that student, that perplexed face turning to enlightenment, and just the fact that I don't go to a job where I sit in front of a computer in a cubicle every day. I actually enter a classroom of learning, but besides that, I think my favorite thing is being able to play multiple roles in a child's life, whether that's like a cheerleader for their confidence, or whether that's, you know, being a mom or a sister or even a shoulder to cry on. Those human moments are really what make teaching.
Brian, because middle school, I mean, you better like doing that, because that's a tough age. I mean, I've had a couple teenagers, and that's rough, and the boys are even rougher. So
I love it, and I think the boys is another reason, you know, they're another reason why I love teaching. Building a relationship with these kids, it's amazing. And
watching them grow.
Yes, and I think what I like about teaching is interacting with hundreds of people in one day. Yeah. You can't do that anywhere else. And so I love it. And it's just something that makes me feel energetic and feel like a kid again. So You both teach in an urban environment where you have children who
maybe come from lower socioeconomic environment, and so it can be tough. What are the challenges that you see, Ashley, at the elementary school level?
Probably the greatest challenge for me is getting so many different types of learners in the classroom, different learning styles and abilities. It can be really difficult. It requires a lot of extra planning for differentiation, but we have an awesome collaborative team at Lions, and my principal provides all the resources. So we usually tackle that at Lions.
Yeah,
but
Lions
that is
does
a
a
challenge.
wonderful job in a tough environment.
We do.
We need to bottle that and sell it, because
I agree.
I think that will make us a fortune. Brian, tell us about the Hogg Middle School and what the challenges are there.
To piggyback off Ashley is definitely the learning styles, different abilities, and I think being able to reach out to those students who don't have access to a lot of resources, and being able to provide them with the things they need to be successful in the classroom. Right. So those are some of the challenges we face.
What would you, if I'm in college today and I'm trying to decide, what would you tell people if they wanted to look into teaching? What would you suggest they do?
Well, I didn't go to school for teaching.
Right. I know, but you kind of know now. You figured it out.
Absolutely.
How can you help somebody else figure it out?
Absolutely. If you're looking for a way every single day to feel like a hero to someone, this is it. It is. They look at you and you are giving them so many opportunities, just building the foundation, everything that they need to be successful in the future. And I really can't imagine a more fulfilling job to go to every single day.
Yeah, you have to love kids.
You do.
You have to, and I think that's the #1 priority before you take a job as an educator.
Yeah.
You have to love your clients,
yes,
what you're doing, because these are the ones we're working for.
Right.
And we're trying to build their future. And if you don't love kids, you're not going to be successful at this job.
And I know I read your paper, and both of y'all, I know, come in from schools who have high expectations for everybody. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter where you come from, you expect a lot from everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a no excuses attitude.
How can we spread that wealth of that feeling of we're going to make sure everybody can do it throughout the district? Do you have any, for in closing, let's try and figure out how can we get more people like you?
Right. Well, I think it begins with leadership at a school, at the school level. I just happen to work under a principal who sets the high expectations for the staff, and we all rise to that occasion. And then when we rise to that occasion, our students do as well. I think it does begin with leadership on the campus.
It's the same at Hogg. Our administration is so strong at setting those expectations that it trickles down to the teachers, and from there it trickles to the students, and their actions are based off of our actions. And so you have to have the mindset, you have to have the skills and the knowledge to say, hey, these students can get to their next level. Right. And that's how you can. Thank
y'all so much for coming today. I know this was the end of school, and y'all are ready to go have a break. But I look forward to seeing y'all next year in the classroom helping those students. Thank you for having us so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And a special thanks to all my guests on this edition of HISD Up Close. Make sure to stay on top of all the news happening at HISD by checking us out on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Until next time, I'm Mike Lunceford.